Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome in to another episode of A Different View. Today's topic is going to be on a pretty necessary one. This is going to get a little hairy, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be blunt about this because people get distracted. See, and again, this is why we said during the we're not going to be doing a lot of stuff come election time because people and it's already started, right? You already start to see who likes Nikki Haley, who likes Donald Trump. Meanwhile, democratically, nobody, of course, folks are done with the Joe Biden thing, of course, with all this immigrant stuff, which is another thing that we're going to get into today. Migrant, immigrant. I want to put to bed a lot of these, again, words and phrases. Be careful with words and phrases, y'all. And I want to break it down on purpose to leave a plain thought in your mind, just food for thought. Again, this is how y'all choose to believe, is how you choose to believe, the same as me. But this is just to put something in the mind here to think on. And we'll attack probably three different points here, maybe two or three. Real quick, because it's not going to be this. Honestly, a lot of these things, guys, at this point, we're going to leave extended talk for Valentine's Day because it's very important. See, the fabric of life as we know it is kind of screwed up because kind of like what I started off in my podcast when I first started this was about relationships. The world is made of relationships. Varying different types, and how we have been interacting in those relationships is a clear marker. And one of these things we're going to get into here, because I said we were going to talk about Black History Month this month, and we will pepper the conversation throughout the month on it. I don't think I'm doing justice by not talking about a group of people here, whether they be Native or whether they be Black. Again, I am both Native and Black. There are many people on the podcast who have certain percentages of all these things in varying degrees, which is why the speech, again, we have talked about it in prior episodes, but you have generalized, and you have individualistic or specific speech, like on a specific topic and things of those nature. The two will intertwine from time to time. Okay, and this is not a bashing of anyone, because again, in the mind has been set up many defenses when people just don't want to do something different, when they want to stay stuck, when they're okay where they are, and they don't say it that way. What they'll tell you is things like, "Oh, you're being hateful. You're promoting violence." Many of these things. This is not to mean people do not portray a thing that could be taken as violent or could be taken as hateful. And in many cases, when people are speaking on certain topics, do they have hate on the mind? Do they have violence on the mind? Yes. But the truth of the matter in many circumstances, has nothing to do with that. People put that there because they, how do I say this? Not trying to sound accusational, but people avoid things. We all do that, right? We all avoid things. But again, at the end of the day, you've got to embrace certain things here, guys, the guys and gals for health, for wholeness. Because again, I think that's the problem in society, is that there's no wholeness. There's parts. And again, one of those defenses that people use is, hey, we're not perfect. See, again, if you want to come up higher, you have got to, this is why I said this early last year, you have got to let go of certain defenses and excuses. in the mind that someone else put in your mind. This is very real, y'all. I know, right? Because you've been trained that like when people start talking like this, it's coming off spooky, that it's all that kind of stuff. You've got to remove some of that stuff, guys and gals. This thing's a little deeper than that. It's why you have issues with sexism, because people believe certainly, which to be honest, the word myth, maybe a little underused or overused, but you believe in certain myths about sexism, got nothing to do with it. Like, for instance, we'll just drop this one on you. Pink used to be for boys and blue used to be for girls back in the day. That's something, again, we're talking about these things, you can look up right on your phone. You could pause me right while we're talking and go look it up and just come on back and listen, because again, you have been fed certain. Now notice all the stuff, how people get hung up on pink, how people get hung up on blue, whatever color you're wearing. They think you're homosexual because of it, or metrosexual, whatever it is. Because again, people's view on sex is skewed as well. And it's wild, folks. They put a lot of different barriers. Again, like this idea of who gonna be the savior, who gonna come down and save the nation, guys. This nation was this nation was bought for and paid with the blood of innocent people a long time ago. The level of salvation needed means you have to undo it at a serious level. But again, you provide peace for you in doing that. Y'all are tired of watching all this violence? Y'all done doing the violent thing? Then you need to start being respectful and peaceful to people. And yeah, it's still coming because people got violence in them. That is different than you fostering an environment to make it easier for people to be violent. See? This is why when kids, this when, and bleeding over a little bit into Valentine's Day, this will provide this thought with parenting, the idea of defending yourself. Folks struggle with this so much. And again, we come back to this original thought. Everything that people are saying is right and wrong is not right and wrong. It's right or wrong for them. That, man, it's hard for people. It is hard for people to grasp that. Like if a person has a problem, we'll take this one because I've had this happen in real time to me. So this is necessary to speak on because it deals in a real topic, and this affects young people. This is a shout out to young people. This is a shout out to old people. We have seen videos online of folks like this. When you decide to have certain social interactions with folks, Lord, if I could talk about this for a minute, walk with me, y'all, for a minute, please. See, you'll save yourself much heartache and stress, and you just make your life easier when you let go of certain misplaced pride. I must be bold here. So when you gather together, guys, and we're playing games, basketball, baseball, football, shuffleboard, hockey, soccer, all these things. This is a little side note before we get into the rest of this here. The idea, and you see this all the time, people just can't come together and play in peace. See, again, there's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of noise. No, you don't understand, this one did this, and no, you don't understand, that one did that. And then wait, this one kicked the ball this far, but it went this way, and then because of that, then we had to do this, and then they weren't listening, so we just said screw it all. And a lot of this mess comes across in life. Like, I guess if you want to say big life to small life, it's all life, right? In varying degrees. So we use the same silly type of thought process with governmental stuff. Making distinctions where there are none. We just do it because something's bothering us and we have the power to make a distinction, so we just do it. See, again, that is to a detriment. That hurts the game, because while you might be taken care of, what about them, right? So then you need to work on better tactics in which the whole of the group can have fun. See, this is why I stop making fun of kids so much. Adults. right? And again, this is not, see, people, instead of taking the word of truth and understanding a thing, you get offended because, again, we're talking about the truth of a thing is offensive in nature. See, people don't understand their true nature. This is why when they make fun of things like the yin yang symbol, I think I talked about this last year. Like there's a nature to people. That there is a nature in life, right? Energies that surround us. And again, we're getting into like Star Wars, the Force, and all that kind of thing. And I understand people don't see, we left the spiritual base. So there's certain things that we don't listen to anymore. Still going on around us, right? Like karma is one of the new ones that has been accepted lately and has a heavy thought in the fact that what you do comes back to you. Again, as it's said in the Bible, matter of fact, because today is a Sunday message, right? So this is just an impromptu verse here before I get into the rest of this, and I gotta get going because I don't want to keep y'all too long, but long enough that we understand the thing. So Luke chapter 6, and this is good for them devout Christians out there. You know, again, we're not. Do not think more highly of yourself than you ought to think, right? Because you can fall into the same traps as anyone else. So this idea of like you have arrived, if the apostle, as is said in certain denominations, or Saint Paul, as it is said in other, as it says in Catholicism, which is a denomination, I understand what Catholics listening to me right now is going to say. see, another one of these unfortunate things that has screwed up society is the fight internally under that which is something you are supposed to believe. We got so much infighting with church folks, it is sick. And again, in James, it says it ought not be, right? Same thing with coming together under certain social functions. You got people cannot play games together, y'all. I have to be truthful in what I'm saying. Man, let me help me say a thing today. If you will continue to hold on to things of old that hold you back, you will have no joy in life. You have zero joy in life. You will constantly be chasing someone else's dream, someone else's thought pattern, when there is stuff that has been given to us by the great Creator, that which is the energy, the power, of which everything has been birthed from. You shut and cut off yourself from that life source, being stuck to such petty garbage. It's hard for me to deal with it. Like, you know, honestly, y'all, in any one of the various social functions of life, it's hard for me to deal with folks like that anymore, man. I'm done on that. I'm done on, if folks are okay holding on to the petty, y'all hold on to the petty. I don't know how else to say it. But for me, like right in Joshua, as for me and my house, man, there's no more time, guys. That's the point. We have held, oh Lord, the innocent that we have hurt, stuck to the petty that we hold on to. Man, y'all ever looked at the word petty and the definition of it? Let me do two things here. So one, we're talking about giving, right? The energy that you pass back out and how it comes back to you. Oh, Jesus. Man, this is rough. Man, this is rough stuff to hold on to, but the truth nonetheless. We'll start with 35 because this is also part of the game here. So, if you love your enemies, Luke chapter 6, verse 35. I'm reading from the King James Version. For those who want to follow along in another version, to help you understand, the new international version's a good one, especially for people who are just say like y'all are just listening the first time. Certain things I'm saying are intriguing. You want to see it. Sometimes if that old English, there's so many TV shows now. It's probably making old English easier for people to understand. But the new international version of the Bible's a good one. There's a few. If you do like a Google search on introductory versions of the Bible to read, you just Google that, you'll find some things here to start you on your way. But love your enemies. Now, this is so. Like I said, I try to avoid some of the verses here that are the catchphrase verses everybody likes to use because they use them out of balance. They really do use them out of balance, y'all. But we're going to go on this one because it's necessary to prove a point. Love your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again or nothing in return. That's what it's saying, right? And your reward will be great and you'll be the children of the highest. For the highest, when it says for he, the highest, right, is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. So, this is not a verse calling you to be a footstool. This is not this. You're not the punching bag. You are not the. See, it's talking about the confidence in which you are to walk in, right? A consciousness in which you are to walk in. See, because again, people have fallen. It happens in relationships. People fall for the wrong person that they marry because of this, or that they date because of this. But see, when you know yourself more and more, when you're around certain environments that feed into that, again, every environment ain't gonna, but when you keep yourself in a certain, like again, there's a thought that comes out in the Bible of those who dwell in the secret place. That's Psalm 91. That's the beginning of Psalm 91. You've got to live there. You got to soak it again. Let go of some of these excuses and these reasons people are using to keep life the way it is. Love your enemies, do good, and lend. Now, but people getting stuck on that word love there. There is a while I had, and again, this is where you go back to your elders, man. This is where you go back to your ancestors and draw on certain knowledge. Because again, people are using the Bible a little bit out of whack here. And there are still truths of the Bible that they are not saying, and truths of the Bible or untruths in the Bible that they're pushing. There's a difference. And for my Christian brothers and sisters, y'all got a problem with it? Again, we can talk. That y'all that know me, drop a line. Again, this is about a different view, y'all. Okay. That love don't mean you get walked on. See. So again, like we talked about the word apologize. Apologize ain't saying you're sorry. It's about making a case for why you're saying you're sorry on something. So again, the word apologize just means what you're doing. We're about to get into it here with immigrant and migrant, because again, this equivocal language that is used in English is used to keep division going by flipping words of similar definition. And people make up words solely to keep the chains moving in their direction. Y'all can take the information I'm about to give you for yourselves, but it is what it is. Take it or leave it. Verse 36, be therefore merciful as your Father is also merciful. See, again, even when you're around people, guys, that do this, that act petty. While I'm doing this, let me set up and get this word petty here. So it is etched in y'all's minds, guys. You don't even have to do an etymology on the word. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to wait. Here it is. Petty. Having little or no importance or significance. Guys, life is so deep. Like Sinead O'Connor dying last year from, that was one of the people we talked about at the end of, very impactful to me, because again, suicide means something, guys. When you take your own life, see, folks are too judgmental. When it talks about in the Bible of the love of the great body of people, or as the verse actually says, the love of many waxing cold, growing cold. Folks have put down a thing they need to pick up again so life is balanced. Too much has been operated in hate and selfishness. Misguided selfishness, if I could say it that way. What do you mean by that, KJ? I'm talking about there is a thing where you look out for yourself, right? Let's do this here for a second. Let's just walk a road, cause guys, it's again, like I said, it's time to put away selfish, lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly. Again, the word chiefly there. Above all or mainly, right? So where you are just concerned mainly with one's own personal profit or pleasure, take the back end of that definition. Because again, the one everybody goes for is the lacking consideration, which is for real. Man, you got as far as that part of you got some people that are really selfish. But this other part here is more telling, where you're mainly concerned with your own profit. You need to be, guys and gals. You need to be, as the word goes, as we have put a word on it. Now, see, when you look at the synonyms, right, as the word goes, when you look this up on Google, there you got some different ones, like, egocentric, egotistical, self-centered. Let's see what some of these other ones are here. Self-rewarding, self-absorbed, self-ups. Now, again, you can take the word self off there and just do absorb, obsessed, seeking, serving, right? So some of this, again, because we have allowed this double speech in language, we done mucked it up. Guys. So we got too many words here. We need to simplify the language. But again, when you're trying to hide your sins, like slavery, like sexism, like all the different things that we have talked about so far in this podcast, you got to have something to give you an out, hence how you speak. There's another one on here, opportunistic. There's nothing wrong with being opportunistic, but there is something wrong with being opportunistic when you cut out other people. That's the problem. Because what you don't consider is the opportunity that therein lies to have someone helping you, right? So you keep cutting off the people who can help you. What you got left to help you? You? That don't work well in an environment where you got to be around people. That works well in an environment around you. Again, that's why I constantly say, we ain't got it yet, but when we do, man, life will look much different. And again, for those talking about change and stuff, like I was looking at whoever the next group for the Democratic Party is. Now, again, y'all already know me, where my stand is on this. Again, voting in government and stuff, these people, this system has been made to screw everybody, except for a few. That's what the we the people means in the Constitution. That, again, what y'all believe, so be it. But all of these things are a big old screw job for everyone else, except a few. And that's a problem when you're talking about we coming over here and it's for God freedom and religious freedom, right? All this stuff we've been talking about. And you think about all the people that have come over here that have used God's name to kill people, literally. Hiding still behind this self-imposed righteousness, like they was right in doing it. That the blackness was devil-inspired, so you had to correct and keep people in order. Lord, how you misuse the holy notion of order so you could create selfish, there's an imposed, imposed rules. Call them slave codes to hold back one group of people meant to help you, forcefully taking from them. There is so much that was done in layers. You want to talk about Shrek talking about an onion is layered. The layers of sin that has been done in humanity is sick, man. Sick. Men and women, the heterosexuals here, and y'all get on the homosexual. Let me stop for a minute. Let's rock this one. Since you get on the homosexual so much, can someone tell me, with all the sexism, how are the heterosexuals supposed to coexist? How does that work? If the man is over the woman all the time, but you want to be married to her? How does that? And this is why from at least the 20s, we're just going to go from the 20s, right? Because this is the special time everybody talk about. This is the make America great again garbage that everybody talks about, right? So Lord, see again, what you choose to believe is what you choose to believe. But this is the other, here's the other side, here's the other side of it, folks, right? If y'all can't get along, one, what message are you sending to your kids? This is why they're rebelling against what you're doing. They're rebelling against what you're doing because what you're doing is a bunch of trash. And the light in them that you birthed out the birth canal is oh man, is telling them, don't listen to what you're saying. Now think about the contradiction you're doing in life, because you got a Bible, especially for Christians here. You got a Bible, y'all got holy books out here telling you how to raise the young ones, how they're arrows in your quiver. Where are you shooting them? Lord, what target are you shooting them at? Is it your target? Is it the one they supposed to hit? This is why I train them. And when they get old, they won't depart from what? The training for them, not you. No, well, you see, here's one of these defenses. Here's one of these defenses where people just won't let go. Just won't let go so they can keep control, and you're killing your family. So, no, you, and a lot of people come across with this kind of language. You got any kids? What does the truth of a thing have to do with the acquisition of something? Because again, this is why people are talking like this. Because what they've dumbed it down to, again, yes, okay? Well, hey, KJ, it's wild raising kids. No, I am not discrediting that, y'all. We talking about how to make this thing efficient. This is supposed to be well-oiled machine. The Bible talks about having the house in order. And that don't look like the garbage that they have put before us here all these years. We ain't talking about, the daughter is dressed in a bonnet and a long dress. The kid is dressed in the nicest looking burlap suit they have possible, right? We're talking about the garbage they have put in our view. The husband has to look all, he's tattered as can be, because we're going back to, the ideas portrayed here have been pushed from the 17, 16, 1800s, that lovely time on North America, right? So now you got all of this view. This is how it's supposed to look. The woman all totally covered up and got nothing showing. God made her to be the good-looking vehicle. Sorry, guys. Okay, you're going to catch up to the women. Didn't say guys don't look good. Okay, and y'all can take that comment for whatever you want to. We talking about, again, folks are not okay with their sexuality. You can't even give a man a compliment till they look handsome, right? AKA, you look good. Can't even do that without somebody questioning someone's quote unquote sexuality. They put a certain thing before y'all to cause you to miss it, to miss the rest of the view. You're just looking at one flower and you miss the whole garden, guys. That's wild, man. You think about the view that could be done looking at the whole garden, and too many people just stuck on looking at the one flower. That was the problem in the Garden of Eden. Everybody was stuck on this tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You forgot about the rest of the trees. But ain't that like deception, y'all? Ain't that like deception? And people fall for the okie doke today. Again, talking about like with games. You'll get stuck on one thing, forget about the camaraderie, though, of being with good people before they pass. That's what we was talking about with, I had mentioned that whole Sinead O'Connor thing. People pass out of your life from suicide because because you're down their lives. You barely help them. And see, again, we're talking about the hard things that people won't grasp, right? It's about getting more involved in everyday life. Not being so concerned with how much money you getting in the bank that day. Not being so concerned, although there's a concern with certain things here, but not forgetting the people of which around you share a thing with. So again, like selfish is one thing, guys, but again, do not go. We've taken it too far. Again, yeah. So just to finish this up real quick to keep it moving. Father is merciful. Be merciful, right? Judge. That's verse 36 in Luke 6. Luke 37. Judge not, you shall not be judged. Again, especially with Christians, we got the judgment thing overfloweth. The judgment thing overfloweth. And when you're talking about reading the Bible in context, which is another thing people miss, because they don't put the verses together, they waste their time talking about how contradictory the Bible is. Can we look a little deeper? You're talking about the Creator left words behind from the creation, from the Creator to the creation, and this is all we can find? There's nothing else. There's nothing else. This is it. See, when you hear folks like that, you have missed it. You're talking about the words of the again, I know we're going in the deep into the pool here. Again, try to walk with me, use the arms. Use the arms a little bit. You're talking about the words coming from the everlasting to everlasting, right? These are different words that we see in the Bible, right? The Ancient of Days. This is why when they talk about, when you speak on Christianity in certain levels, people not understanding, you got that little pseudo stuff that everybody follows today, and that which is from ever to forever, a belief in something that is very great, y'all. A respect for people that knows no bounds. Again, where you can actually love those who are doing bad to you. Where you can treat a person a certain way even when they're doing bad to you. Does not mean that they walk on you. So please understand the difference. You've got to be able to operate in a world around the enemies the same as the friends, y'all. So how would you? These would be ways in which you would do it. Condemn not, you shall not be condemned. Again, we're just bringing out a thought here, y'all. People are too quick to judge. Stop doing that. In doing that, you are setting up your own demise. Because again, life has been given certain rewards and consequences. Because the Creator knows the creation will go out of whack. So you have to keep things in balance. Here's where it is. Again, condemning, judging. We're talking about a mindset where that's all where you are. That's all you know. We don't see nothing else. It's just they're wrong. That's wrong. And 3/4 still wrong. Like we're talking about that level. You invoke upon your self-judgment when you're like that. You invoke upon your self-condemnation when you're like that. Forgiven, you shall be forgiven. You can't never, ever let a thing go. So we talked about forgiveness a while back, right? It's this idea where, no, you're not going to walk on. See, again, we're talking, look at the contextual breakdown here. Christ is repeating a thought here. How can you love your enemies? Because you're going to forgive this part of, we know you're out for our evil. But we ain't walking in that same hate and distaste for people that you are. That's where the love your enemy comes from. That don't mean you sit there and let them take you out, guys. That's two totally different things. This is why some people actually really do need to pay attention to things that go on in the East. I know they like to down Confucius thought processes and just Asian thoughts. And again, they do the same thing with Africa. They do that with the African ancestor worship. Now what's funny, right, is we got no problem praying to the saints. There's clearly at least one verse in the Bible. We understand that the thought process is throughout the Bible, but you are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. So the people that's passed on before you were still there, and you're surrounded by them. This is something you can look up online. I'm just expanding on the thought on it here. What do you think they're doing? They're just sitting there sipping lemonade. I mean, they might be sipping lemonade, honey iced tea. I don't know their favorite drink, right? Eating their favorite meal. Whatever it looks like in the great beyond, right, guys? The next universe, right? Okay. We're going deep here, but we're trying to get out of thought. is that we've got to come away from a lot of this too selfishly centered mess. Here's the big one. Given it shall be given unto you. See, this is where the karma thing is coming from. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Think about all of those terms. What you're giving is coming back to you in good or great, like a lot. Man. Pressed down. So like in a French press where you're getting all the good stuff out of something. Or, now this is what you put in that French press, right? Whatever coffee bean you know what I'm saying? So like we pressing down and getting and extracting out whatever you put in. So it comes back to you, pressed down. Concentrate. All the flavor, right? Oh gosh, man, shaken together. So you already got that one here from James Bond, right? Shaken, not stirred. Okay, gives a different effect to the drink. So we're making you something authentic here, right? Running over. And for anybody who's watched the beer commercial, you already know they use that visual there of the beer or the ale or whatever being poured and it running. You got the mead if you're Asgardian Thor fans and all that kind of thing. We're drinking big old pints and whatever. You know what I mean? Where it's pouring over and you foaming at the mouth there. You don't even drink, but you're still foaming at the mouth because it looks good, right? That's the way. This is how karma works. Now, why would you want to put that kind of energy in being evil to folk? You would work especially being selfish, right? You would want all of the goodness possible coming back to you. But no, you'd rather be petty. You'd rather be worried about the things that are, again, there's other verses that talk about why we wouldn't worry because we're already provided for. It's the same thing in interacting in each other in anything, guys. Anything. Going out to eat. People being petty on how they pay the bill and stuff like that. Being worried over how many pennies and all the guys got who's leaving the tip and all, getting into fights over no. The interaction between humans that could be gone tomorrow is more precious than that garbage, and we have to keep ourselves reminded of it, and that's why you got to separate yourself from this garbage we live around. So here the article starts, right? Talking about separation. Again, we said separation and segregation are two different things. The headline reads, this is from crownheights.info. U.S. Holocaust claims processed. Sorry, not U.S. Not U.S. We can't go that far. Never mind. New York State Holocaust claims processing office secured over $183 million for victims and beneficiaries. Now, that didn't say veterans. That didn't say, I'm gonna get all the way down to a certain thing here. That didn't say, how do I say this? That did not say those of European descent. So again, we know this word white is made up. And we're gonna get into it here with the slave codes in a minute. That did not say Latin folks. That did not say Asian folks. See, I know the different things that are popping up in people's minds as they're talking. Again, just walk with me for a moment. This is for Holocaust folk. Nothing there for black folks. So-called, I should say. Because again, the term was made up. We don't even know the actual names of the different tribes and folks that you see, because again, it's all been put in this coding of the word black. It's why the ancestry thing has become so big, because people have messed around with folks' literal histories, their personal histories, their ancestry, to make way for them to make laws using coding like black and white so that they can make certain rules that disparage. Can someone please tell me where now again, I'm not, the first thing comes out of people's mouth, bro, what are you saying? You don't want the Jews to get, did anyone hear me say that? I'm just asking a question. No, you did not. Because again, the Holocaust was a horrible experience. You baking people? We baking people. Forget chickens and cakes and muffins and stuff. We baking people. We burning books. We're burning Bibles. We are thinking we can take over the planet. That's not to mention the nation of England. Again, we're using certain terminology here. Using the partition, using religious upheaval to try to take land in India. We that's the partition. See, thank God for the TV show Miss Marvel, man. Because before that, I didn't know that. Nobody taught you that in school. Hey, you know what? Somebody leave me in the chat and I bet you it won't be any. Maybe you have a few 30-year-olds, but it won't be anybody 35 and the bulk majority is not 35 and under that know that. I'm just saying, if they do. You got to understand, guys and gals, this is, again, it's all right. So let's read a little bit of this. Governor Kathy Hochul today announced, now this is just a couple days ago that this happened. See, again, I got we talking about y'all can find the money to send to Israel. Of course, y'all malign Palestine too much. Again, neither one of them is supposed to be fighting. Y'all. See, again, before we do this all hell Israel, neither one is supposed to be fighting. So the same that y'all giving to Palestine is supposed to be the same you giving to Israel, but because you have blinders on, you are supporting violence. Yeah, I said it. You've got innocent people dying over there on both sides, y'all. Nobody's supposed to be fighting. That's the point. But because people have been taken over by greed, now again, you've got religion, see, not belief. You've got religion pushing a certain agenda. That Palestine is wrong. Again, y'all are dealing with a family war that is between them people. If you want to make regulations so that the fighting does not kill the planet, I get that. But this who's choosing sides, back out of it. The only side there is peace. And we've been playing this game for a long time, guys, because this whole thing with Palestine goes back even before the 70s. Talk to anybody 60 some odd years old who's been paying attention, they're going to let you know. Misinformed information got them people killing each other over there, y'all. I'm just saying what it is. Any Christian want to come on, talk to me, Muslim, y'all want to talk to me, Jewish people, someone Jewish, y'all want to come on, talk to me about it, off to the side, whatever, that's fine, right? Because again, we're talking about being respectful here. But at the end of the day, you got misinformation killing folks. Yeah, it's just what it is, guys. We down here to share this thing. So again, if they're able to find, there's no real reason to again, we said that this was on crownheights.info. Something to go back to, because again, I had talked about obligatory in my last podcast. Again, no one's owing you anything, yet we owe a debt to life, because I used the word twice in two different things, so I want to clear up any confusion. You owe, but when we misuse the holy notion of owing someone something solely to get for yourself without giving back properly, and this is where the lines get blurred, because everybody thinks. See, again, let's get into that verse a little here. That Proverbs 20, is that Proverbs? Let's see. No, that's not that Proverbs. That is this one, I think. Yeah, Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which seemeth right, and again, this word man, that seemeth right to a person, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Again, there's another verse in the Bible that talks about that man sees things right in their own eyes, but God is, you know what, let's just, so we give you the reference. Because again, y'all, this is about getting rid of these barriers that have been put in our mind to hold us back. Let's see, Prophet Samuel, King Saul, some things about the house of Jesse. let's see. This is before. Yeah, this is before David. This is before David and the Goliath battle. Right. Powerful thing here. Powerful statement. But yet, here we go. Verse 7. The Lord said unto Samuel, look now we're looking for warriors here, right? War comes to Israel because partly because of holy notions and people will come against you when you're doing right. That's just you might as well count on that. This is this idea of the temptations and trials we go through. That's going to happen, right? Again, you're talking about the nature of a thing. You are living in a different thing that offends someone else. So since and again, if they don't see they're wrong in it, here's where the violence. That's where that starts, right? You got to protect yourself against that. Again, this is not that's not promoting violence. This is speaking the obvious, right? So, the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature. Now, when you look in the Willie Lynch letter, which again is not proven historically, it's funny how a lot of this stuff here dealing with black folks is not proven, right? In a world where things were hidden. Let's hop into that real quick. Let's see. 1865. We'll go back as far as the French colonies had some movement restrictions. You can only go certain places with someone telling you where you could go. Marriage restrictions. You can only marry certain people that they told you to marry. Let's see. Most places restricted the marriage. I'm reading off the slave codes right off Wikipedia, y'all, by the way. Now, for those who got the Boo Bird thing on, well, the slave code's changing the black codes, and again, remove. It's not about being disrespectful here, and everyone has the right to believe as they so choose. But again, if you are talking about changing a thing, there are certain things you have to look differently upon. Okay. Because again, it's going to say that you can't ask for change, still looking at the thing the same way you have, thinking it's going to change. That actually is insanity, right? This is the definition of it, where you think a thing is going to change and it don't. So, marriage restrictions. Most places restricted the marriage rights of enslaved people, ostensibly. We could have just took that word out. To prevent them from trying to change masters. You just got to put big words in where we don't ostensibly. Listen, just to prevent. That's all. We don't need to overstate. It's to prevent. I digress. To prevent them from trying to change masters by marrying into a family on another plantation. Y'all can just if you can just see the wordplay there. And again, we're talking about where are you getting your stuff from? This is from Ingersoll, 1995, pages 29 through 30. So this is just which again you literally can. You can literally look up a lot of this stuff right online. It's just all you got to do is literally just go back, take out the one thing, and just look. Just research the quote, copy and paste. That's all. The marriage restriction part, they have that highlighted. So you click on that one and have some fun reading into that which has caused us to be in this garbage we're in today, y'all. Why? Because people are looking at husbands and wives as acquisitions. You don't own anyone. But you're already thinking about owning the black folks, so I guess you own the white ones too, don't you? And you own the Latin ones and the Asian ones, the Middle Eastern. You own. Because we in conquering mode. See, but we didn't call it conquering mode back then. We call it colonialization. Why? Because in the language where you have equivocal language, we can flip out words and make it look like it don't. It's not that bad. It's not really that bad, is it? Oh, it's that bad and then some. Because again, if you can enslave one group of people, what's to stop you from doing it to another one, whether literally or not? There isn't anything. So yeah, guys, and I was going to go into the difference between migration, immigrant. Again, if y'all just some wordplay here. Migration, dealing with moving from one place to another. Immigration, dealing with when you stay in the place you're moving to. Again, one of those words they could have cut out, because a lot of times these things repeat themselves. It's the same thing during coronavirus, right? Which we are still in. But people playing around with the word epidemic and pandemic. Okay, again, epidemic dealing with the spread of disease amongst a large host of people, right? You gotta love how words are so screwed with. So a disease takes out 20 cities in a certain area. That would be an epidemic, or one city. Let's do it that way, because people like to play around a little too much. Pandemic would be the whole of a thing. But again, an epidemic, which would be taking out multiple places, even if it was across the whole world, would still be an epidemic. We don't have to do pandemic. So let's when you get into the etymology of the words, right? This is epidemic, 1600s, common to or affecting a whole people. Okay, now again, people in their mind were like, okay, so that's like 5 towns, right? Again, you're talking about how a definition is sent to you, right? Because this is how you perceive it. See, again, this is why when they talk about that word literate and illiterate, it's how you perceive a thing. And the less amount of being able to perceive is where they will call that illiterate. Which is why it's sad they didn't allow black folks to read, because again, you are holding back a group of people from figuring out your scheme. Everybody is allowed to protect themselves, see? So if learning is a way in which to do so, which is why y'all will always see me learning. We not, it's free thinkersville over here, y'all. I have much respect. Again, like I told y'all, yes, I am Christian, all that kind of thing. I have much respect for where I'm at, but we're not doing what everybody do. Again, to each their own, man, right? So, common to or affecting a whole group of people. Now, look at pandemics. Speaking of diseases, and again, they started. So the 1660s, right, is where you start to see this word come to play as a noun, a pandemic disease. It's recorded in 1853. Again, people are making up words and phrases here, y'all. Right? So, and like a lot of times people start getting into arguments over this stuff. Guys, realize words are made up. Words are made, whichever one you want to use. Right? So whichever one you want to use. And we make up a whole thing like nobody knows what they're talking about because you're using words they just made up, guys. It's the same thing with a lot of these laws. We're getting mad over things. See, instead of getting mad over the laws, put laws in place that add balance. So it's cool that people are making money, that the states are looking to give money to folks. Again, can we do it for the other folks here that keep getting skipped over? See, this is the thought that's just pushed to the side. And again, in society today, when we're dealing with balance, life as it is, as God has made it, as the Creator has made it, we're starting to see the balance come to play. That's why you see it come up. It happens every time and a couple generations pass, and here you go. All that mess has been going on, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Whoops, wait. You got your sexual revolution going on with the women. They're changing how they're dressing because the men been holding them down. I'm sorry, y'all. If you cannot stand, if you got an issue, this is why it's in the Bible. Like if you're going to lust after a woman with the whole plucking your eye out and all that kind of thing, look away, y'all. See, again, people don't want to do that part of it, so they would rather hold you down. You can't do this because you are intruding upon me. See, again, the idea of this is all to share. So if y'all don't want to see everybody all unclothed or whatever, you have an issue with nudity. This is where we come in the middle. So, right? Because again, we're talking about in the beginning, the Garden of Eden, we're just dropping little things here and there, y'all. There was no shame with nudity. There was only like 2 people there. So I mean, again, like we put way too many restrictions on life, and this is why we've got life looking the way it is. There's more freedom in it, but we are not giving it the freedom that is necessary. So guess what? You get pressed down, shaken together, running over, back to you, what you are putting in play. This is, I don't know. That's just what it is. I had a couple of things here, some things with Uncle Nearest. Uncle Nearest, again, a lot of people credit Jack Daniels, just on this subject of recognition. So that's the issue here. A slave, again, when you look at certain things in the slave codes here, one of them is that they had no rights of things. Trade and commerce. Check out Trade and Commerce by Slaves. Initially, most places gave enslaved people some land to work personally, allowed them to operate their markets. As slavery became more profitable, slave codes restricting the rights. See, this is that. You want to know why natives called the Europeans Indian givers? Like, again, folks with forked tongues, this idea of having the knife behind the back to hurt you, because this is what they were. So all it took for you to stop people that you already wrongly enslaved from making money for themselves to build their, see, again, we're talking about church folks here, healthy communities, hospitals, banks, churches, schools, right? We're talking a vibrant community where there's education going on. Protection, safety. This is why don't hate on the police, but you need police of the same culture guarding and helping the same culture stay in order. Stop asking European folks to tell you about black folks. Now, again, in saying that, I must caution this because folks go sideways. That is not to say someone who is, because this comes up with intercultural marriage. This is not to say you cannot love and live life with someone who is of a different culture. Okay? What this is saying is when you are governing over someone, of course. And see, again, white people don't have a problem with this because most of the neighborhoods, especially where money is flowing, they already got their police force. They already know this. Now, again, they use it to their disadvantage to be able to do wrong and someone to look past and let them slide by, which is, again, we're talking about eliminating these things. Y'all if we want the neighborhoods better, we got to stop doing this garbage. And while you will always have it, again, those who speak on the change, this is what we're talking about, eliminating this mess. So, as slavery became more profitable, slave codes restricting the rights of enslaved people to buy, sell, and produce goods was introduced. So we started putting restrictions on that. That right there is coming from the slaves' economy, independent production by slaves in the Americas from Philip Morgan. That was 1991. That was 91, y'all. They knew the game back then. We're just learning about this stuff now because the truth's been hidden. The knowledge has been hidden. And it's been hidden so someone else could profit off of someone else. This is what it is. Now, again, we can't expect them to be paying us to see. The idea is to get back to this thing where we are doing the trade, right? We're talking about Tulsa. We're talking about in Detroit. We're talking about in the Carolinas. We're talking about getting back to a place where we have strength. And that's not in isolation, but it is in a level of separation where we're able to regather our strength, guys. This is a game. This is a competition. This is Monopoly, mind you. Not really so much as the way the game Monopoly is played, because again, the idea is not to take out everyone. The idea is not to take out everyone. See, in life, it's the revert. The profit is happening when we all profit, not when only one profits. So that's where we're at. We're just gonna leave it there. We're just gonna stop it there because again, we can go on this topic for a while of giving proper recognition and credit to where credit is due. And that knows no age, that knows no gender, that knows no culture or skin tone. So, That's what I got for y'all today, ladies and gents. Thank you for coming along this journey with me. I know sometimes the road is rough. The road is tough, but it is necessary to speak on, again, for unity for people. See, people look at this thing as divisive. It's not. It's for unity for people. So, thank y'all very much. And as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.